The November 4th meeting of the Design Review Board. Consistent with Executive Order N-29-20, in-person participation by the public will not be permitted, and no physical location from which the public may observe the meeting will be available. Remote public participation is allowed using Zoom program. So I assume if you've joined us, welcome on Zoom. And we're all doing this obviously to minimize the spread of COVID-19. So let's get this thing going. Roll call.
All right. So Ted Luthen.
Here.
Lars Langberg. Here. Ron Harry.
Here.
Christine Lovell.
Here.
All right. And then Gregory Beal is not present currently. And Carrie Bush asked to be recused.
All right. Thank you for that. Planning Department update on matters of general interest.
I do not have any updates for the board at this time. I believe last time I gave you guys the update on the parklets going on in downtown. But
Yeah.
That's really about the most that I have at this point, other than the Climate Action Subcommittee is moving forward. We're hoping to have a first meeting in December or January. But that's about all that I got.
All right. Thank you for that. Comments from the public regarding items not on our agenda. Anybody here just have anything to say? If so, you raise your hand or wave or somehow make yourself known. Seeing none, we'll move on. Statements of conflict of interest. We have one from Carrie. Anybody else have conflicts? I assume if you did, you wouldn't be here. All right, then let's move on to our regular agenda item. We have some facade improvement program applications to look at, correct?
That is correct.
All right, can we have your report?
Yeah, so I'll try to just do a kind of a brief overview of this and a brief note on the applications that we received. So the city has recently revised the facade improvement program, and in doing so, we made several changes, such as increasing the city contribution up to 75%, up to $2,500. We're having the Design Review Board review and approve the applications on a quarterly basis. You've also made some modifications to the program in that property owners and tenants are allowed to apply up, once every 3 years. So previously it was you could apply once and that was it. However, the city council wanted to revise that. We've also modified the program to be a little bit more lenient in that projects that are currently in the process but are not completed can apply for the rebate. And the last real significant change is that if a property is sold to a new owner, the owner now has the option to maintain the improvements and not be required to repay the city for the rebate, or repay the city a prorated amount of the rebate. So now if they decide to maintain those improvements, they can just keep them and not have to pay the city back. These were the last three were really based on public comments that the city had received, and the city council was supportive of them and wanted to implement them. So before I get into the project descriptions, does anyone have any questions about the facade improvement program? And I know it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I have one quick question.
Yeah.
Alan. So what you're saying is that a person can apply for this rebate of the city contribution once every 3 years?
Correct. So the way that the program had been previously set up was that the improvements had to be essentially maintained for a 3-year period. And the city council was, based on public feedback, interested in saying, well, what about if they maintain it, but if they want to do a new improvement after those 3 years, they could reapply again for the program.
Okay.
So essentially it's fiscal years. So if they received it this year, they wouldn't be eligible again until the 23-24 fiscal year.
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And is the $20,000 fund, is that an annual?
It's my understanding that it is an annual fund.
Okay. And when it reaches that maximum, can it roll into the next year, or is it just sorry, we're out of money? Is that?
It's sorry, we're out of money.
Okay.
It's possible that we could go back to the council and ask for additional funds because I know there's a lot of interest and excitement behind this program,
Mhm.
but currently it's funded for $20,000.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
and the other thing I do want to note on this is that these are discretionary approvals. So it is, if this is something that the board or finds that something that they don't necessarily want to support, they can do that and there's no findings needed to approve or deny it. It's just essentially doesn't meet the criteria for the facade improvement program. And then is it a project that the city wants to assist funding? So, yeah.
I had one question, Alan. For the application materials, I guess the intent is probably to keep it simple so people don't have to hire the architect or whatever. So it's not, drawings aren't necessarily required. It's kind of just like a little sketch or picture of some sort. And here's my business license and here's all the receipts and everything.
Correct. Unless they're doing something that requires, a building or planning entitlement.
Yeah.
It's more, the plans are more just a general representation of what they're looking to do.
Okay. Thanks.
So any other questions before I dive into a brief analysis of the 4 applications?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. So I'm going to go off these in the order that we received them. The first application is also, I guess procedural wise, I guess this is just something I'd like to ask you guys as well. So this is a little bit different than what we normally review, as I'll just kind of batch as one application. Would you guys like for me to go over all 4 applications, or would we like to go over them one at a time and then move forward?
I think one at a time. How about the rest of the board?
One at a time, and we deliberate and approve or not, you mean, and then go to the next one? Yeah, I like that.
Could we just kind of go in order? I've got my iPad with the stuff here, so as opposed to, there's a bunch of paperwork here. Could we start with Funkin' Flash, maybe?
Yeah, so that'd be my intent, is going top to bottom.
Good, okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Keep it simple.
Thank you. I need that.
Let's do it.
All right, so the first application that we received is for Funkin' Flash at 200 South Main Street. The business owner, Zoe Kind, is requesting a facade improvement rebate to install a approximately 24.5 square foot sign above their entry. The sign will be constructed of polyurethane letters with stud mount backs, and the existing vinyl sign will be removed as part of this installation. And they will be required to get a separate staff level design review permit, or sorry, a staff level sign permit application prior to the installation. So the project has estimated the total cost as being around $3,562, which 75% of that would qualify them for the full rebate of $2,500. So that's the first application. I don't believe the applicant is here currently. So,
Okay.
would the board like to
Any
discuss or
questions?
ask any questions of me?
Any questions for staff?
No.
All right, seeing none, and since we don't have an applicant here, did we get any public comment, or is there anybody here that would like to speak on this matter?
I believe the only person here is Bill from the public, and I believe he is representing the Hot Muck on this one. And Bill, I'm going to unmute you just to verify.
Yes, that's me.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Great.
All right, I'm going to mute you again.
Sounds- All right, since there's no questions and no public comment, thoughts on this? It seems fairly straightforward. I'd love to see the banner go away, and the banner just doesn't work. What are the thoughts by the board? Ron, any thoughts on this?
No, does this comply with all sizes and all that sort of stuff?
So this one, it does meet all the requirements for this particular building and site. So it is something that when they submit the sign permit, it is supportable. It is something that staff can approve and sign off on.
Okay, then it looked fine to me.
All right.
You
Christine?
know, I buy all my clothes here, as you can probably tell.
Christine, any thoughts?
I have no problem approving this application.
Okay. Lars, how about you?
I really like the picture, kind of looking up into the sparkly heavens there. It really sold me on it.
Yeah, I think this will be a huge improvement over the banner over the door.
Yeah. for
Yeah.
sure.
All right.
My only other thought is I wish they would, there's kind of a beveled surface that runs around that door. I'd love to see that airbrushed some crazy color or something. I mean, it was one of the beauties of the old building was the whole building was funk and flash. And now they moved into this building that isn't funky or flashy. And anyway, that's neither here nor there. So do we want to vote on these individually, or do we want to just leave the vote till the end and vote on all of them? I guess, what would you prefer, Alan?
I'm open to either option. I think it may make sense, for the board to look at everything and then take an action, but I'm assuming you guys have looked at them and reviewed the application, so I think it could really go either way.
Yeah, I think we should probably just continue on. I think we've got consensus and agreement on that one. Let's roll to the next one.
All right. So the next application is something that we have seen before. It is, hold up the staff report here. It's Bear Radiance at 6910 Weeks Way. And a little bit of background on this one is that the business owner, Elena Fry, did apply for a facade improvement rebate last fiscal year and was approved for it. She also did get a design review that you guys saw, I think, in April of this year. However, due to unanticipated challenges, the project had several delays, including COVID and this being an aesthetic project and not an essential project, resulting in the project being delayed on several occasions and eventually passing the expiration date. We did issue an initial extension on it. However, once the fiscal year, which was pushed out a few months, ended, the budget for it went away and we were unable to issue the previous, essentially extended any further just due to the way the city's budget is set up. So given that the project was underway and that no rebate has been paid off, the planning department had encouraged them to reapply for a new application. So that's kind of the little bit of background there. And as a reminder, they're proposing to refresh the paint on the frontage, add new signage or replace signs on the building, and installing the decorative bamboo along the front facade. I think it's behind the parapet wall.
And this came to design review. I missed this meeting, but this came to design review and it was approved, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So this applicant currently has both their design review permit and sign permit approved by the city. And essentially, this is a new facade improvement request to essentially extend to the current one that they had received but had expired.
Okay.
So I think that
Seems to make sense to me. Does anybody have any objections to this?
No.
No.
Nope. All right, then sounds like that one is kind of a no-brainer as well. So why don't we continue on?
sounds good. These are going pretty easy. All right, so the next one that we have present is for the Hot Monk Tavern at 230 Petaluma Avenue. The applicant, Bill DeCarli, who is present here today, is requesting a facade improvement rebate to update the existing landscaping and to install new exterior solar lights on the site. The improvements are really going to be focused on the south end of the property and the south end of the building, which is primarily visible to Petaluma Avenue, and will include replacing several of the unhealthy plants and shrubs on the site, as well as replacing the mulch and decorative black bark when needed. The project is also proposing to include 8 new solar accent lights, which should be included in the application that you received, that will highlight existing trees and building facades. The application's been quoted has been quoted $5,000 for this project, which once again qualifies them for the full rebate of $2,500. And as I mentioned earlier, the applicant is here if you'd like to hear from them.
All right, any questions of staff on this one?
Nope.
All right, hearing none. Let's see, would our applicant like to say anything about this?
Yes, hi, it's Bill DeCarli. Yeah, you know, the existing shrubbery and whatnot is been there since we opened. So that was in 2008, and where we've maintained it, it's some of it's just kind of dying. It's near the end of its lifespan, and we really would love to clean that all up and freshen it up, and also adding those lights accents. I think we've got 3 trees on the property, 3 small trees. It'd be nice to accent those, and that's a beautiful old stone building, as you guys know. And it'd be nice to get a little light coming up from beneath in the front there. You know, we'd just love to accent that building as much as possible.
Makes sense. All right, thank you very much. Any questions of our applicant?
Bill, do you have a selection of shrubbery that you're planning to put there?
No, I can't say we do a specific selection. It would probably be some of the same. Maybe I know right now we have some roses, very small bloom roses. Forgive me, I'm not. I don't know plants very well. I know mine are dead at home. That's what I know. But you know, there'll be no new trees or anything like that. We're not going to be bringing in any kind of species from outside the area, for sure.
I think the city probably has on their, you know, on their website or through the design review and planning, so on, there's suggestions of trees or plants if you wanted to look. You know, we always encourage local, native, drought tolerant, all that kind of thing. So
All right.
that's the only comment I would make.
Yeah, any guidance you guys have that way, I'd certainly appreciate it.
Actually, you might just walk over to Kerry's place. He's a landscape architect, and I'm sure maybe for a beer, he might give you some free advice.
Oh, well, you know, I know where there's some beer. That's for sure.
Okay, ask Kerry.
He's right. Bill, they're right across the parking lot from you, next to the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I know them. Yeah, they're great neighbors.
Yeah,
Great neighbors. We like them a lot. Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds good. Any other questions of our applicant for Bill?
Nope.
All right, seeing none, any comments from the public on this item?
None that I'm aware of.
Okay. So let's see. I'll kind of phrase it the same way to the board. Any objections to this item, or are we all pretty much in agreement on it? Looks fairly straightforward.
Or any recommendations, stuff like that.
Yeah. I unfortunately am not Mr. Plant either. I'm not a plant.
We already made our recommendation to go talk to Kerry.
That's right. That's a good call.
Sucker Kerry into something. All right, then I think we're good to move on to our next item. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. And
Thank you. Thank you very much.
it's a great spot.
Thanks.
All right, so our final facade improvement program of the night is from the applicant / property owner, John Goring. This is for the Toy Works at 6940 Sebastopol Avenue. The applicant / property owner, John Goring, is requesting a facade improvement rebate to install 3 48-foot LED string lights, 2200 Kelvin, in the courtyard facing Weeks Away, which is a public road or public courtyard. The applicant's been quoted a total of $2,500 for the project, which includes the labor and the cost of the LED lights. And this project would qualify based on the information provided for a rebate of $1,875. All right.
All right, any questions about this one?
I have a couple comments. One, I think I asked earlier about what drawings are required, and I have to say this is one of the most low-key, you know, creative renderings I've ever seen. It just looks like whiteout
It is.
on the photo. But
You're gonna keep the light out.
it does kind of express the intent pretty well, I'd say. So So, yeah, there goes my job out the window, right? But
You're being threatened.
and then, so I think it's fine, but I know building costs are high, but $2,500 to run 4 string lights sounds like a lot of money, but I know, obviously it seems like they're doing it very legitimately and they have to tie into the panel or run a circuit or whatever, but it just sort of, that sort of comes to mind, just indicative really of how expensive things are to do around here now, whether we as a board are allowed to kind of question that, when these projects come to us, like, really, does it cost that much, or or whatever. I don't know. This is all new, so I just want to raise that as a comment.
So could I provide just a little additional background on the program, just to make, in case it was unclear at all? So they're proposing, or the bids are basically showing us what they're estimating the cost to be, and what we're doing with tonight is essentially allocating funds.
Mhm.
They will not actually receive any money from the city until the improvements have been done and they provide all the receipts and all the finalized documents. So, if it does come in, the overall cost comes in higher, they're still, in this case, they'd be capped at the $1,875.
Mhm.
But if it came in lower, then the rebate that'd go back to them would, drop accordingly to 75% of the expended funds.
Okay, that
So-
makes sense.
And I can't necessarily say whether this seems to be on point or not in terms of price. I have the same first knee-jerk reaction that you did, Lars.
Yeah. Okay. I think Weeks Way will be greatly enhanced by 2 projects now.
Actually, I'm looking at this proposal from Lundardi. I have no idea, but you're dealing with a licensed electrician here, and I'm not surprised at the price at all. If they could put the string lights up much cheaper, but they're going with a regular electrician local, so that's kind of adds $1,000 to it probably.
Well, and Lenardi is not your run-of-the-mill electrician. They're a big outfit.
I know.
Yeah. Well, and they do say that I'm guessing they're providing aircraft cable to suspend these things from, and
Yeah.
if you look at just the cost of the unit, it's $90 for 48 feet. With the lighting itself being so inexpensive, I almost wonder if they're making the investment in pulling a circuit out there,
Right.
whether they don't double up on that grid and do that whole courtyard and bring it a little closer to Weeks Way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the idea that it'd be nice to have the Toy Works sign out closer to Weeks Way too,
Mm-hmm.
suspending it or something. But then that gets into more a bigger investment. But I think this will help provide a little life back in that space, which would be nice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you guys came across in the application, but they were also noting that part of their hope with illuminating this courtyard is to, in part, to also help assist the restaurants in the area.
Oh, yeah.
It's
On additional seating, and essentially, that's on their private end and their private agreements and their deals, but that seems to be some of the intention here, and on top of just drawing attention to that entrance of Toy Works.
Yeah, that actually could be quite a nice space if it was
Yeah,
outfitted well.
for sure.
All right. Any objections to this one from any board members?
Nope.
All right. Seeing none, it sounds like we are in agreement on all 4 applications. Somebody want to forward a motion for approval?
Sure, I'll move to approve all 4 projects as submitted.
All right. Can I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
All right. So we have a motion and a second by Christine. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call the question. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I
believe that was everybody.
That was everybody.
All right,
Motion passes unanimously.
perfect. All right, so. I
Well, that was straightforward.
think- Yeah,
I like that. That's a great program. And it's nice to see people making use of it.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I think, these 4 applications alone, I think that pretty much equals everything that we received last year, if not
Yeah.
exceeded it. So I'm happy to see the program seems to be a little more successful than previous years.
Be nice to go to everybody that has a banner out in front of their business and tell them, hey, there's a program to help you with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while we have you guys here, one thing that we could also do, as stipulated in the agreement, is we could ask the recipients of the program to install a sign in their windows, basically saying that they participated in this program and received funding for it.
Yeah. I
This
think
is
that's a
something-
fine idea.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
We wouldn't have a problem with that at Hopmonk at all. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah,
the-
it's a really good idea because I don't think very many people know about this program, to be
Yeah.
honest.
That's a
And,
great.
and there's a lot of facade improvement that could happen on Main Street. I mean, a lot of the stuff, I mean, the awnings and everything, that they're starting to look, a lot of them pretty old and tired.
Yeah.
So I think the signs would really help get the word out.
Okay.
So
So yeah, I'm happy
really
to.
good idea.
I'm happy to prepare those and require that recipients install them, or at least place them in their windows for a fixed period of time.
That'd be great.
So out of curiosity, does the board have any input on how long the sign should be placed in there? I don't think our current programs, stipulates a time that they be displayed. Yeah, it's just,
Before you go there, I think Bill could be dismissed, I would think. if he
Oh.
wants to be.
yeah, Bill, you're,
As to
Yeah.
how long, I think that 6 months or something like that would probably be fair.
Is that reasonable?
yeah, and also I just reviewed and it's until the date the rebate is actually provided back to the applicant or to
Okay.
the applicant, so however long it takes to get the work done.
Right. Okay.
That sounds great.
That sounds great.
Bill, thanks for your presentation. We appreciate your application. Looking forward to the improvements on Hotlock.
Yeah. Hey, may I ask one question real quick? So the cap on this, the 75 is 2,500, 75% is $2,500. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. I heard a reference to 1,875. That's why I asked.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that was just for Toy Works because their bid was below that 70 below
I
the
understand.
cap.
Yeah, their total bid was 2,500, so it was 75% of that.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We're very excited.
Great, thanks, Bill.
All right. Have a nice evening.
You too. All right. I think that was our only order of business, correct?
That is correct.
All right, then if nobody has anything else, then we are adjourned. Thanks,
Did,
everybody.
did we decide on the 19th whether it's 3 or 4 yet?
So that was what I was going to ask next. So I
Uh-oh.
heard back. So touching on the Woodmark proposal.
Yeah.
I think I sent out the email saying that November 11th is a holiday and that's essentially we would like to push the meeting back. And we had a couple conflicts for the following Monday and Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
So I've sent another request out for that Thursday, the 19th. And I've heard back from everyone except for Gregory Beal. So I think that seems like a reasonable date. And I've sent Greg several emails and haven't heard anything back. But if that's the case, does the board have any preference between meeting at 3 or 4 p.m. on the 19th?
I can do either one.
Either one.
So I think,
I'm fine either way. And I have a question about the Woodmark project also.
okay. So I think if that's the case, I will be scheduling it for 3 p.m. on the 19th. And I'll send an email out to everyone confirming that.
That sounds great.
Okay. All right. And Christine, you had a quick question?
Yes. So
Yeah.
on the Woodmark project, so far, we're just acting in an advisory role. We're not making any decisions.
Correct.
Is that the case? So is there going to be some point in time when we're making official decisions, or are we just advisory on this one? How's that planning out?
So the very short answer is this is a preliminary review. When they submit a formal application or a design review, that's when a formal action will be taken.
Okay.
So in theory, a preliminary review is meant to, the real purpose of it is to provide feedback to an applicant on how to get a how to make their design workable and approvable by the city in terms of like design elements. That's the best way I can describe a preliminary application.
So at this point, they've made no formal application to design review.
That is correct.
Okay,
All right.
thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Anybody have anything else? All right, then we are out of here. Thanks, Alan.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you, everyone.
Everyone.
Well,
You
see you
get
next time. Bye.
See you on the 19th.
Sounds good.
The 18th.